Yes, people. Welcome, 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 welcome. So yeah, welcome back to Tribe Talk Live, episode 2. On today we got Rowan Kelly joining us, sports agent, coach, and mentor to many athletes. So yeah, just waiting for him to join. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, also, episode 1 that I did with Bobby is up. The full talk is up on YouTube now. The link is in the bio, so go check that out. With this talk as well, I will be uploading the full talks every Sunday. So I'll be doing a live talk every Sunday, and then I'll be posting the full talk from the previous week every Sunday. So yeah, let's get Rowan in the talk. So yeah, Rowan's online now. Just waiting for him to join or request. Okay. Hello.
Yo,
Yeah, how you doing?
what's up, man?
How's things?
Not too bad, not
You
too
got
bad, man.
that full-on quarantine look going, yeah?
Mate, to be honest, I called my barber still, so the barber should be coming in sometime next week. Can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I
Can't
ain't
do it
seen you with
anymore.
a beard that long, man.
I know, usually I go for the level 1, innit?
You like a different person.
Level 1. I know, literally. I don't like it, but it is what it is. But yeah, I've had enough, man. My barber's coming in next week, hopefully, so.
I can't say anything anyway, man. That's I think from
Huh?
June onwards, you're gonna see some special haircuts around everywhere.
Should do still, should, but I can't even wait that long, so yeah, man. Next week,
Next week,
it's coming off. It's coming off next week, man.
how you been though anyway?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's crazy, isn't it? So everyone's just in the same boat. So
Yeah.
we're just getting by daily.
I mean, it looks like everything's starting to ease a little bit. So
Yeah,
I think we find out on Thursday, right?
I think so. I think so. So hopefully Ross can give us a better message this time,
Hopefully.
a bit more specific, in detail. So just gotta wait till then, really.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
So
welcome first and foremost.
thanks.
This is the first live you done.
Well, first live.
First official.
First live.
Nice.
Never done a live before. First live.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's get into it. So, yeah, who is Rowan Kelly?
Rowan Kelly.
Yeah.
Who's Rowan Kelly? So I'd say sports agent, coach, mentor. So a lot of that is, I say, based on experience in terms of the coach and the mentor inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. And yeah,
So
it's pretty
where
much me.
like your background, where did you where did you come from to the point where you're at now?
Um, well, I used to play football as well.
Hmm.
So
What level?
I believe I was quite good.
Yeah, what
I
level
believe I
did
was
you
quite
play?
good. What level?
Yeah.
So when I was in school, I had a trial for Crystal Palace,
Hmm.
and did do quite well. So I think that was in year 9, to be honest. In year 9, I had my first trial for Palace,
Hmm.
and I thought that was kind of So I didn't really think that was it. So time went on, and I think I left school, didn't get a scholarship anywhere.
Okay.
Panicked a bit, you know,
Yeah.
panicked a bit. And then what I'd done, I went Kingston College. But I went Kingston College because that was in connection with a football team called Saint Town,
Okay.
which was semi-professional. So obviously, still keeping myself relevant. And so I was there, and then I went to Bournemouth the year after.
Hmm.
And then when I was 19, that's when I started getting professional trials again.
Yeah.
So I went Cyprus, Norway, Belgium, went to Stoke as well.
Nice.
I think Barnet was my last trial, to be fair. So I had trials at a good level, to be fair.
Hmm.
And I think that was probably based on a lot of hard work, to be honest,
Yeah.
and being around the right people, you know. So yeah, I potentially could have played at a good level,
Hmm.
but yeah, it just didn't happen for me.
Nah.
So yeah, so
Why do you
the
think
end.
that is the main reason?
Do you know what? I think a lot of that was confidence
Okay.
playing, which was really annoying. Yeah, and it took me a while to kind of get it though, to be honest,
Hmm. So
because it
looking
was
back,
crazy
looking
because
back.
within my obviously environment,
Yeah.
like school and stuff, I was probably like one of the best, especially in school.
Mhm.
So, but when I had those trials, professional trials, I couldn't really express myself properly.
Okay.
And I think that's part of
Pressure.
the confidence side. Yeah, pressure. Yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah. So
almost the thing where um, like training is amazing, and then
yeah,
when the time comes to perform, it's not.
yeah. So I definitely learned a lesson from that because then I used to do like a lot of training in the gym,
Yeah.
and so don't get me wrong, in the gym's all good. You're on a treadmill doing crazy runs and
Hmm.
doing whatever you need to keep fit. But when it's time to play a match,
Yeah.
doesn't really, yeah,
I
doesn't really
always
fit.
tell that.
Yeah,
I always tell that to my athletes. You can be in the best shape of your life, but if your mind
yeah,
isn't where it's meant to be, you won't perform.
yeah. It's true.
It is what it is. But it's interesting that you went through that, and it must be like a massive benefit to the people that you train now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely,
You know.
definitely,
So
100%.
what's your opinion on everything that's going on now? All the events in the world
Um,
happening.
only thing I can say is it's safety first.
Hmm.
Whatever we hear, in terms of like the theories and oh, it's not this and it's this and it's that. It's just safety first because it's still evident that people still have the corona. So
Hmm.
even football the other day, I think a few players got tested positive for corona. So
Really?
yeah, I think there was about 3 players. So that's what I'm saying. So it's safety first, really. There's not really much we can do, to be honest.
What do you mean the
So
professional players that have gone back basically to training have
yeah,
done
yeah,
tests?
yeah. So it's still in the air. So
Yeah, I think
yeah, there's not
safety
really much we can
safety is
do.
number one right now. Whether you
100%.
whether you believe what's going on or not,
Yeah,
you know, why risk your safety? You know.
yeah. It's true. It's true. But I think, as we know, like recently, I think most people have kind of had enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that's
Yeah,
out there. Like
you see pictures
yeah,
of people in parks. It's crazy, and
literally.
beaches. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
just driving in the parks are crazy. But you know, people have just had enough. And when you got kids and stuff running around in the house
Yeah,
every day, yeah, it gets a
I
bit
think
much.
it's obviously built up cities and stuff where people like live next to each other. You know.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
So
and flat shares and all this sort of stuff and big families. Yeah,
yeah,
it must be a nightmare. But
crazy
yeah,
times, man.
um, so what? Obviously, we've been locked down for a while,
Yeah,
and obviously people's jobs are uncertain, and you know, people have had to kind of adapt to the situation that's happened. So what
yeah.
sort of things have you done to kind of overcome being stuck at home, and not being able to see anyone in person? You know, because
Um,
obviously networking is probably probably the biggest thing about what you do.
yeah, definitely. 100%. So it's important to, stay relevant. And how I've been doing that, I'm on the Zoom app now. So
Okay.
before I didn't know what that was, to be honest. Obviously I've heard about it, but I've never really had,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, any excuse to kind of use it. So I downloaded the Zoom app, and what I started doing, I started training the players, on the Zoom app. I still do it now and then. And with players that I speak to, players that I potentially want to work with,
Mm-hmm.
and but players bring other players as well, because again, when I'm doing the Zoom app for fitness, it's open.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's to help players just in general, anyway. And not only that, recently, I say from last week, I started to do sessions outdoor,
Okay.
just small-sided sessions. So I probably had about just 2 players max that
Mm-hmm.
I'm training with. Then usually, off season, I do like off season camps. I'd have like, as we know,
Yeah.
quite a few players. So I've just kept it quite minimal, to be honest. Training,
Got
one or
it.
two players. But it's important to keep the communication as well with players you're working with or families you're working with
Mm-hmm.
now and then. And just staying relevant, really, to be honest. And just making every day count.
Yeah.
I mean, just sitting down and obviously just feeling like the world's on your shoulders. We're all in the same boat. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Just kind of got to get on with it,
Yeah.
regardless.
Because obviously staying, just talking to people only goes so far.
100%,
You know,
100%.
so it's cool that you've like gone the extra mile to actually
Yeah,
keep your clients and your athletes in shape.
yeah,
But
yeah,
and
yeah.
does that resonate with the agent side? Like how are you adapting? I'm guessing obviously that work is just shut down completely from the agency side of
Yeah.
things. So
Um,
is there anything that you can do on that you could have done on that side, on the agency side?
to be honest, I wouldn't say completely shut down. Obviously, in terms of watching games and stuff,
Yeah,
yeah, obviously that's not happening.
yeah.
But on the flip side, like I said, communication's always been key
Mm-hmm.
anyway. So even if it wasn't quarantine or whatever, communications has always been key. So yeah, so I wouldn't say completely shut down, but I know what you mean. To a certain extent, there's not really much you can do, really. But yeah, so without the games, it's just, I think communication is just so key.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, it's just nothing's happening.
Staying in touch with your people, basically.
Definitely, definitely, yeah.
Um, how do you feel? Like obviously an add-on to that question. How do you feel like your experience in your career, whether it be an athlete or your profession now, has helped you like overcome situations like this where you're forced to adapt?
Um, I just say, just working hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think people underestimate that, them 2 words, really. Working hard. You just gotta keep going. Gotta keep going and look at things as a lesson,
Mm-hmm.
basically, instead of looking at it as a, you failed or whatnot. So you just kind of look at it as a lesson, because to be honest, when I was playing football,
Yeah.
I just thought that was going to be it. That's all I wanted to do, is play football. And then, I started working in schools. So then I was I was mentoring in schools,
Mm-hmm.
with to young kids for a while, and then I got my own sports company right here, AO Multi Sports, with my friend Anton. I think he might be in live right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that coaching side. Obviously, when I went college, to be fair, I done my sports coaching level 2, so I'm qualified.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and I think when I started working in the gym as well, I met you as well in the kids gym.
Mm-hmm.
that's when I came across a lot of, young boys that was playing football
Yeah.
because them was what, from 11 to 16.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of kids from the area, obviously South London, that was playing professional football, they used to come in the gym, you find out that, their situations and stuff like that. And yeah, it just kind of kept on. So I ended up using all my experience in terms of coaching
Yeah.
and mentoring, and I've kind of snuffed it underneath the agency side, So yeah, and I think it's quite good, to be honest, But you just got to keep going, and again, just it's all lessons, It's all lessons.
Of course, it's failure and everything else part of the process.
Yeah,
100%. So now, obviously, everything seems to be easing off and everything else. So what are the plans for the future, bro? What are your plans moving forward now?
Plans for the future, can't say too much. But, can't say too much. But plans for the future, just do you know what? I think just working extra harder, literally, and like I said, just using this time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Just jotting things, jotting things down. What you could do better. Like I said, on the flip side, you can look at this time as a positive time and really sit down and think, cool, what can I do better going forward? I think it's a good opportunity to kind of have that mindset at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
So again, yeah, it's just sticking to the plan, going a bit harder than I was going before, and yeah, like I said, can't really speak much, but other than
I think this time right now we're having is almost a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
like forcing you to sit down and reevaluate everything.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I got some Q&As for you from people that have asked throughout the week. I think I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions for you.
No problem.
You ready?
Ready, I'm ready.
All right, cool. Someone asked, what can someone do to stand out in the industry you're in? Now, you already know they weren't specific, so I'm guessing they're talking about being an agent.
Agent-wise.
Yeah.
To stand out, it's a good question because everyone's perspectives might be a bit different. But for me, to stand out as an agent, I think you gotta be consistent, very consistent, and ears have got to be to the ground. You got to know what's happening.
Yeah.
So you got to know the best next talent or potential next talent, should I say?
What sort of things can people do?
Like, deal breaker,
obviously, probably being an agent is probably just as competitive as actually being a footballer.
100%.
So, what can someone do instead of being a person that just like stands next to the pitch and tries all this?
So say that again, bro. Just breaking up a little bit. Sorry.
Obviously, being an agent requires a lot of networking and being pitch side and everything else. Like, what other things can someone do to stand out from just being a regular agent, basically?
To be honest, I feel like on the come up, it's a lot of groundwork on the come up. I feel like you more or less have to go through the same route,
The same route.
on the come up. You got to do your groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do the groundwork. And to be different, I mean,
yeah, because obviously you come to a certain point in your career where it's like you're on the same level as everyone else, so you're seeing.
Of course, but obviously players as well, right? Obviously representing players, top talent players, that's what can make you, well, I wouldn't say different to other agents, but put you in a different category because you've got those, top players around you, and I think with that as well, it's trust as well. Obviously, players, they need to earn your trust. Families as well. So that plays a big part in it as well. Because, when these big time agents, when they have, these players, like for example, George Mendes and Ronaldo, had Ronaldo for a while, Radio with Balotelli, and trust definitely has a big part to do with it. But again, back to your kind of question, it's a hard one. Like I said, I feel like in the beginning, you got to do the groundwork. I don't think there's any cutting corners, to be honest. And I don't know, you could maybe go abroad, maybe do things a bit different. So maybe, I don't know, you might think, you might feel like this side's a bit crowded.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe try to go abroad, maybe do things a bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just feel like, you know, in the beginning, there's no real, you know, cutting corners. You gotta hit the ground, to be honest.
Yeah.
You gotta do the sideline bit, you know.
So you get to a level where you can actually make decisions.
Definitely. And again, like I said, it helps when you're aiming high. So when you're representing, you know, top players or potential top players,
Mm-hmm.
you as an agent will, you know, you'll be in a different category.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying you'll be better than everyone else, but you'll be in a different category to other agents because of the players that, you know, that you have underneath you. So
Yeah.
players will definitely, you know, make it, you know, makes a big part of it, to be honest.
Yeah. So like quality, obviously going for quality over just quantity.
Quantity.
And obviously, like, you know, actually genuinely wanting the best for someone,
Yeah.
for your athletes and your players. Yeah. So
100%.
yeah.
100%.
Next one. So how do you balance being an agent, coach, and mentor all at the same time?
Good question. Obviously, the agent side of stuff, that's, you know, every day,
Yeah.
daily matches, communicating with the players,
Mm-hmm.
sponsorship deals, all of that stuff. So everyday stuff, that's the agent stuff.
So that's the main. That's the baby right
Yeah,
there.
that's the core. That's the core right there. The coach side of stuff only really comes into play for me when I'm doing off-season camps.
Mm-hmm.
So off-season camps is basically when the season's over with. You know, I'll do camps for players,
Mm-hmm.
not just for, you know, players for myself, but just some players, you know, players, you know, in general. And I've been doing that for a while, to be fair. I started doing that before I got into the agent game. So that's when, you know, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
You know, some, you know, times like this right now. So, you know, this is me coaching players as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the mentoring is sort of daily as well, I'd say.
That's a given right there. You know.
Yes, obviously, because I used to do it in schools as well. So obviously, again, I've used that, you know,
Yeah.
sort of experience, and I think it's key, especially working with a lot of young players as well. Especially, you know, certain environments,
Mm-hmm.
and mentors. I say slash guidance as well. You know, depending on, you know, the player situation as well. So yeah, I think that's key as well. The mentoring side as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people sleep on that section, but it's yeah,
I think
it's very convenient.
Obviously you're basing everything around your own experience, which is great.
Yeah.
And also going back to the other question about standing out,
Uh-huh.
don't think, well, do you feel that other agents would actually bother, or they would kind of probably delegate the extra stuff to other
Um,
people? So I think you add like almost another depth, you're
yeah,
not just the agent, but you know you're willing to, you know, help progress them through. It's almost like a
100%.
whole package rather than, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like to think so, but at the same time, you've got a lot of agents where they might just want to, you know, work with like first team players.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're working with first team players and stuff, or young first team players, the mentoring side might not really mean as much as
Yeah.
when you're working with young players. So I think because I'm working with young players, I feel like the coaching stuff and the mentoring stuff is needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it depends on what kind of players you're working with as well. You know, so but yeah,
Your
I
target
think
is,
it helps.
yeah,
Say again?
your target is up and coming talent basically.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, potentially.
Cool. Next one is age. Is age a factor when it comes to the selection process, and why?
Well, yeah, as you get older,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it gets a little harder, you know, to make it in that bracket
Yeah. Why is that?
because you got to think about all the players that's already in the system. So talking from a player that's basically, you know, been playing in the academy, you know, there's a lot of players, you know, that play in the academy.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a player that's not playing in the academy, but he's playing and he's been playing semi-pro, and then as you get older, things get harder to try and divert into that system. So you want to try and get into it as early as possible if you can. But again, it's evident that that's not always the case, because there are a lot of late comers. So you find that not a lot, but there's a lot of players that make it through semi-pro, and they could be 19, 20, but you just have to keep playing. Regardless of your situation, you have to keep playing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what
you've got
advice.
to be in it to win it. You've got to be in it to win it. So obviously, yeah, it just gets harder. Basically, it gets harder as time goes on. It gets a lot more harder.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask what advice would you give someone who's been in the system for a while, or is older than the majority, and wants to break through. Basically, you just gotta keep hammering it.
You just gotta keep going.
Yeah,
you just gotta keep going. There's no shortcuts to it.
Yeah, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Pretty much.
Yeah. So like I said, for example, for me, 19, that's when I was getting trials again. I didn't think the day was gonna come again, but to be honest, I put in a lot of hard work. I think anyone that knew me then will tell you that I was in the gym every day, swimming. I was putting in the work, and when opportunities came, I wasn't too surprised, because again, I put in a lot of work, and what helped is I was surrounded by the right people.
Yeah,
and I think that counts as well. You got to surround yourself with good people, and people that you can kind of learn off, and that helps. Your surroundings, that definitely helps.
100%. The environment that you're in, dictates.
Especially as you get older as well. Yeah,
definitely. Cool. Next one. I think we've pretty much already answered this one, but were you an athlete in the past, and how has that helped you in your profession now? Kind of covered it already.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So yeah, well, trials and stuff. Do you know what? On the flip side, it's definitely helped me. Because again, when I'm speaking to players and whatnot, it's obviously always kind of off the back of my experience anyway. I kind of nurture it into them, sort of thing. So
yeah,
I think that's why I'm so onto players around me, like training. Especially now anyway. Don't be home. Don't be at home being lazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's go train. Like let's work on bits. Do you know what I mean?
I think I was gonna comment on this as well, because I feel being an athlete and a coach, especially in a sport that you've come up in yourself, I think it helps, especially when you're training them, to understand what they're going through and how they felt. You've been there before. You feel this way, but here's how you should. This is what you should be doing. This is how you should react properly, and everything else. It's almost like unloading that knowledge onto your athletes and everything else.
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna say as well that a big thing is, just because you're a good athlete or a great athlete doesn't make you a great coach. Do you know what I mean? I've had, like, you have to be real with yourself if you want to transfer into being a coach. And I feel a lot of coaches kind of have a great career and everything else, and it's kind of a given just to go into coaching, whether they have a passion for it or not. I've had many coaches in my time that have coached me, but I don't know, like I just don't see progress.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's down to me, it's down to the athlete. They just don't know how to guide you properly. They just do what they do. They do what they've done.
True.
Everyone's different. Do you know what I mean?
And one thing with this game as well, it's a game full of opinions. So again, you could go, for example, and try to just say Southend, for example. The coach might not take to you.
Yeah.
You can go and trial, to Arsenal after. The coach could absolutely love you. And this is the thing. This is why I say you got to keep going, because every coach is different, every manager is different. So everybody has their own different perspective of how they look at players and what they want. Do you know what I mean? So the coaching is crucial. It's true what you're saying. It's true. But yeah, as an athlete, not really much you can do. You just kind of, got to get on with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Second last question. How as a player, do they get noticed? The best way they can get noticed by an agent.
Best way to notice the player.
Yeah. In a player's perspective.
Young players or just in general?
Just in general. I mean,
because I feel like with young players, when you're watching the game and stuff, with young players, say like, 15s and 16s, you see a lot of talent, a lot of talent, that stands out. But when they get to 18s, it's a bit different because a lot of the players that have the talent, sometimes their work rate doesn't really match, which is quite annoying. So you'll find out when it comes to the 18s, the players that are showing hard work kind of overcome the talented players. So it's a tricky one, but to stand out, like I said, there's no corners cut. So it's just, you just got to study your game and do a lot of training, off the pitch as well, because that definitely helps. It'll definitely show in due time, trust me. And it's a process, and I think a lot of players don't really understand, young players, like it's a process, so just because you're not playing a lot this season, it doesn't mean, it's going to be the same for, next season. So a lot of coaches like to test players as well, their mindset as well.
The last question I've got, I think it ties in nicely with this question, and I think it will give you a better understanding of the question. Like, what do you look for as an agent in a player that you would like to support or represent, like whether it be on the field or off the field?
Definitely, mostly on the field stuff. With off the field stuff, you can't really help that situation, if that makes sense. So, obviously, in terms of on the field, you want, the best player on the pitch, talented player, potentially anyway, player that's, hard-working, shows good attitude.
Yeah.
And most importantly, a player that responds well to situations, basically on the pitch, Like my guys are right there, football agent, hard work, dedication.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep working hard. And again, it's a process. And again, what did I say? I said, how a player like reacts to certain things. So if a coach is telling them to do something, how do they react to it?
Yeah.
Just
you
them playing.
There's a
lot of aspects. Yeah. So to be honest, you can't really just watch a player at one time and be like, because they could have just had a good game. You don't know what they're like, a team that's probably, better than them, potentially better than them. What they're like, when the weather's not good. Do you know what I mean? So there's a few things around it. And obviously off the pitch as well, you've got, players where their situation might not be, too good, at home and stuff like that. So it could affect them when they're on the pitch as well. So that as well, you got to be kind of mindful as well. And you got to have like an open mind to it as well. Do you know what I mean? So when you do see players with bad attitudes and stuff, I'm not making any excuse for them, but sometimes their home life might not be the greatest. Do you know what I mean? So there could be a lot of things to it, It's just like when I'm working with kids, again, it's just, when I'm working with kids at school, most of the time, the reason why they'll act in a certain way is because their home life wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
So that's something that I might see, watching these boys play football and they're behaving in a certain way, but it's because there's a lot to it. But it's a no-nonsense game, to be honest. So, yeah, man.
So
talent. So basically, So talent. A hard-working player, and again, player that shows, shows a good attitude. And I shouldn't want it more than you.
Yeah.
I, as an agent, shouldn't want it more than you.
Definitely.
I shouldn't be like times like this. I shouldn't be coming to you saying, "Oh, let's train." You should be coming to me, like, Ro, can we do bits, or Ro, can we, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
So it's almost like that, players need to be resourceful. Would you say that, obviously, for players that are not represented by someone, what would you say would you suggest they have their own footage, have their own CV and everything else, like present themselves
So,
almost before they get to that stage?
yeah, so for example, there's been situations where, players might have reached out, they might not have an agent, and because they don't have an agent, they feel like it's just, could be the end of the world sort of thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not that. So there's always ways around it. You just got to do your groundwork. So video clips is good.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a player, and cool, you're not represented and whatnot, and if you've got clips, that should be the first thing you should be doing is sending clips to maybe agencies. And like I said, with the social media right now, there's no excuse. So there's a lot of agents on there, sports companies, send your clips over to them, see what they think of you, see what they can do with you.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, yeah, as you get older, it gets harder, but it doesn't mean it can't happen.
Yeah.
So I say video clips is a major thing because you got to be honest in an agent's shoes. If you're a player, you're just saying, "Oh, I play football. I'm not at a club." Da. As an agent, what do you know what I mean? What can we kind of do with that? You know what I mean? So at least have video clips where we can kind of see what kind of player you're like, where you was before, what kind of, do you know what I mean? So give us a better insight, So, and yeah, just take it from there, really.
Cool, man. I appreciate that. I did see someone mention in the comments about mental health.
Okay.
What's your opinion on someone? Because I know I've been through this personally.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on, someone that has either not made it, got injured, or not followed through with the process for whatever reason, and something's obviously they can't train, they can't play, do whatever, even though that was part of their day-to-day life, and obviously not being able to do that, there's a void there, and obviously it affects your mental health because if you put all your eggs into one basket, I want to be a footballer regardless of what anyone says. I'm gonna make it, and you live and breathe it. But something happens for whatever reason. What would you say? I don't know if you've been through that personally, but what support would you give someone that is in that sort of situation where there's something missing because of they can't perform or they can't do what they love?
To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to answer that question because I haven't been in that situation.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying it will never happen. It could happen. So obviously I'd have to kind of see what I can kind of do, with that person. But yes, there are, players that, as we know, they get injured, get injured for a very, very long time. And
have you had an athlete that's been in that situation?
No, not myself, no. But obviously, I know of athletes that's been injured, and some dealt with it well, some didn't. So some, going out quite often, it's not obviously in the right place. Do you know what I mean? And you're just trying to do things to kind of keep your mind off things, and that was a tricky one, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really been in that situation.
Yeah.
With any athletes, like I said, who knows, years down the line, that might be the situation with me and a player. So I don't know.
I mean, everything happens for a reason.
From the outside. I could always just talk from the outside, but I would, do you know what I mean? It's a tricky one, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, everything happens for a reason,
No, definitely. Yeah. But with the football aspect, you're saying all the eggs in one basket. It's a tricky one because, okay, if your eggs are in one basket, for you to have that mindset, you should at least be in the system. So, for example, if you're, say from school, you're like 14, 15, for Arsenal or whatever, you've been there for, for years. So obviously in your mind, you should make it, But I think as parents nowadays, we kind of need to kind of tell kids to still do, good in school because it's important. Because you'll find that a lot of players don't really go the extra 100 in school because They feel
They're
like
just
football is it.
relying on football.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you never know what can happen. Like what you said, like injuries and stuff like that. You just never know.
Yeah.
But at least you got yourself backed up because you've got this or etc. So but then again, it's harder for someone that is an actual professional football player. So 2021.
Yeah.
And you're on a contract, but you're injured. Depending on what your situation is, I don't know what kind of wage you'll be on, but maybe looking at the business perspective of things and maybe try to invest in things or read into books and stuff. And but I know it can be a hard time. It can be a hard time. So it's a tricky one, to be honest.
I mean, I've 100% been there, like on the come up.
Yeah.
Like, you're so adamant on making it, and I was so hard headed. To a point where I didn't listen to my parents. I didn't listen to my coach when they said, you know what, like, follow. You need to, like, my coach would always say, oh, get this qualification while you're young because it's free and it will help you in the future and everything else. And he was my coach, but he was a personal trainer as well. So he was like, yeah, just do this. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna make it. Nah. I don't want to do that with my life. Nah.
Yeah.
So I would just suggest anyone that's on the come up, listen to people that have been there, done that.
100%.
And it's not necessarily like it's a two-part thing. It's it's a backup plan, one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't just you have other interests,
Of course.
If you're a footballer, you might like music as well. I would 100% go as hard as you can.
Yeah.
In football, but at the same time, pursue your other interests in the back. Have that side hustle. Have multiple hustles.
It's true, but it's hard. Like you said, on the come up because
100%.
When you're young, you want to know one thing. So you just think having that thought process of, having that time to do other things. You're like, nah, man.
Yeah, because you're investing so much energy into what you do. I remember 100%. Having like, I was training 6-7 days a week and having like maybe 5-hour training sessions, like nuts.
Yeah.
But I had the energy to do it, and it's like pure passion as well. But I would just say, if someone asked me that question, I would say,
my dad was the same still.
Pursue
my dad used
your interests.
Good, electricians and stuff, but I wasn't really interested in that kind of stuff. So I was in a similar situation, but because I kind of started working in schools, and I remember I was working part-time in a school. So this was again when I was 19, and but even on working part-time, I'm literally going in like with football training, and the head teacher at the school that I was working in, like, he was super cool. Mr. Ivanovic, and obviously I'll never forget him, but he was a cool guy because he was a football fan as well. So if I had like trials and stuff, he'd let me go, because he understood that you're young, and I see this is what you do, and he was very respectful. So that kind of definitely helped my situation. He helped my situation. Obviously me trying to pursue that dream, but it did get to a time where it's like it's tricky because now I got a little one now, so things start to.
Of course, life
bit
tricky,
and then,
life.
Literally. So
I mean,
life's happening.
Work on your other, like, have that backup plan, but it has to be relevant. It can't just be,
that's the thing. It's not relevant.
It's gonna make me money. It has to be something that you're interested in, and something that you can work on constantly.
I'll be real. When I was doing sports coaching in Kingston College, it's not because I thought I was going to be a coach, within the next couple of years. I didn't think I was going to be.
Enjoyed it. And
having a company with my friend. It wasn't even a thought process like that. I just done it because it had something to do with sports.
Yeah, it's relevant.
So, it's relevant. And I didn't mind it, to be honest. You know what I mean? But it's true. If you are in a similar situation, just do stuff that's relevant, if you can.
Yeah, literally. Are you happy that you did it now?
100%. 100%. Obviously, then I was like, but you know what is what, like, me even going college, not like that, because obviously I wanted the scholarship, but me going college, like, college,
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted the scholarship, but
Mm-hmm.
it happened. But it is what it is. But I'm still playing, semi-pro football, Staines Town Football Club, which was, a decent level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously I've done my sports coaching level 2, and it was my gym instructor level 1 as well. So
Yeah,
it worked, because within a couple of years I was working in the gym.
that's it.
Not only that, the whole sports company with my friends. So it just all kind of leveled out, to be honest.
Making the most of every opportunity, that's relevant
Yeah.
anyway, not just because it's gonna make you some money, whatever else.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, bro,
So
thank you so much
yeah,
for doing this.
no, it's cool, man.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough. As you probably already know, obviously I'm doing this because everyone's in lockdown.
Yeah, cool.
I want to hopefully redo everything as well, like have actually one-to-one in person, have a proper production of this.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on.
No, thanks for the
and
invitation. Yeah, man, no, it was good. It was good.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we can do part 2.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll definitely have a trim by then as well. So definitely have a trim by then.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, bro. Anyway,
enjoy your Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You too, bro.
Cool. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bro. Take care.
Take care, man. Yes. So, yeah. Every time I come on live, we're always talking about haircuts and the way we look. But yeah, thank you to everyone that joined. Really enjoying this, and I hope you are too. Getting a lot of positive feedback. As I said, this whole full interview will be released next Sunday, but I'll upload little snippets and little gems for you throughout the week that you can add to your knowledge, basically. But yeah, thank you for the support. My previous talk that I did with Bobby is on YouTube now, so yeah, just go to the link in my bio and check that out. But yeah, thank you again to Rowan, and thank you guys for the support. Yeah, next talk will be next Sunday. I'll see you then.